When did you find out that it wasn't going to be Ilia and that it was going to be Diego for the vacant title?
Yeah, so that's what was I knew I was fighting for the title for a while. So it's been a while knowing that my next fight was for the title. I didn't have originally thought it was going to be Ilia. Then I wasn't sure. So then there was questions for a while because I know he did really want to move up. So I did hear he wanted to, but they still weren't sure of that actually happening. And then, so I was thinking it must be either interim or fight for the belt against Ilia. So it was like that for a while. And then in Sydney is actually where we found out. So that's they must have had a in-person sort of meeting, conversation. And, it must have been Ilia going, look, I'm committing to 155. And then literally they gave me all right, it's Diego in Miami. And I'm like, all right, sweet, beautiful, whatever. At that stage, obviously, I wanted just a fight by then, So it was getting to a stage where I was like, I just want to fight now. It was always Ilia. I wanted Ilia, wanted the rematch. Obviously that's going to be a big driving factor for me, losing to him and wanting that win back. So that's all I wanted for a while. And then it got to a point where I didn't know what was happening. I was like, all right, now just give me whatever for the belt now. So that's sort of where we're at. So still happy we just have a date and opponent and then that being locked in.
Is there any part of you that's disappointed you can't get that one back against him?
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say that I can't. There still can happen. I'm planning on going out there and looking good. You know what I mean? Going out there and doing my thing and I'm bringing that belt back home. I'm very, very confident of that. And after that, I think that just sets up for an even bigger fight. Whether that is still at featherweight or it's at low, I don't know. We could still maybe make that happen, but everyone's going to change their tone after this one, I guarantee you. And everyone has every right. I'm coming off 2 losses. I'm 36, almost I'll be 37 at the end of the year. So a lot of people are going to be like, he's done, he's dusted. And they have every right to think that until I change their mind. So that's what I plan on doing in April. And there was a lead up to that being the case, right? There was a lot of time where he said he was moving up. And I knew if he's moving up, it's Diego. You know what I mean? I was thinking that. Obviously, Mosbar is another name that deserves it. But yeah, so I knew it was going to be most likely Diego. And so I had that sort of in my head that that's an opportunity. At one point, I was like, oh yeah, we went and did the face-off in the octagon. So I'm thinking, it's Ilia. So I had that in my head and, started sort of training from then, being like, I'm going to start, taking things more serious, start even game planning and things like that. But then you started hearing him talking about the lightweight thing, and then I was like, maybe it's just negotiations, maybe, I don't know. Because I knew that, he says he doesn't like the weight cut. The weight cuts are, he's got to cut a fair bit. So, I just wasn't sure. But then it started being like, wait, I think this is really the case where he might actually be moving up. There might be something to it. So then I was like, all right, could be Diego. And then it was Diego. All right, sweet, whatever. By that time, I'm like, let's just fucking fight. Sorry, excuse me.
No one knows better than you, though, about being a featherweight champion and moving up. And so are you surprised he vacated the title? You didn't have to.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, definitely surprised. I mean, it's just we're in a time now where the double champ thing is going to be pretty hard to do. If people want to move up, I think the UFC are going to want you to just move up. And I think there's going to be certain fighters that will be able to do it. I think you've got Wei Li, her situation right now. Her moving up to fight Valentina, all right, where that makes a lot of sense, and her keeping the belt, that'll be fine. But then you're in these other divisions, it's going to be hard to do. And see, I don't want to sound bad, but I mean, this is sort of where they're at. I believe there was a time where you could do it. My time when I decided to do it, I showed that I was active and I would be busy enough. I actually ran 2 of the divisions for a couple of years, I think it was, because I had both the title fights, obviously the back-to-back because of the late notice and that as well, and then still defended and fought for and did my title. Within the 2 years, I had a heap of fights, in lightweight and featherweight. So I could keep it busy. So I feel like that's hard now. You know, you got some of the champions who are busy enough. I'm not taking nothing away from him, but not like a Pereira, where Pereira's just fighting every couple of months. You know, him moving up, I think that they might do that with him. He's obviously a big star, and he's active, and he fights anyone. You know what I mean? So you can maybe see that happening, right? But I mean, I think it's going to be hard to do it in other divisions because it wasn't that long ago. You had, you know, myself, Izzy, and like a few of us. It would have been Pereira too. Like there was a few of us that, mate, like we're having 2 or 3 title fights every card because we were keeping it that busy. So they could do that, you know. Like yeah, we wanted to fight every few months, and there was a few of us doing that. I can't name more right now, but you guys will know who I'm talking about. So it was just a little bit of a different time where now you've got, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that. People are like, oh, no, right, very strategic in their camp, fighting just enough. You know, so they're just being a bit more calculated. We'll just like bring on anyone, anytime, let's go. So it's just, I feel like times are just a little bit different right now.
And from what I hear, he has said time and again, I don't think it's a negotiation ploy. He doesn't want to make the weight. He can't make the weight. It's just too big of a strain. And so if that's the case, what's the point of having him keep the belt?
Look, well, I see what you're saying. Yeah, definitely a vacated belt, or, you know, a fight for the actual title is bigger than interim. But yeah, well, as you just said, like Ilia's serious about this, and I even heard, like, so when you know, we're even in like sort of talks, getting information like that. You know, obviously the respect's there as well between us. He's like, look, I'm not interested in fighting at featherweight. The only way I fight at featherweight if it's against me. Like he was like, you know, like they were saying the only fight that makes sense for me at featherweight is against Alex. No one else. Like, why would I bother? Like he doesn't have any interest. He wants to move up. But if he does fight at featherweight, it will only be against me. Otherwise, he's done. Like he was pretty much saying, I'm done with the division. I want to move up. I want to get that second belt. I just want to do the live. I don't want to cut weight. But if I have to do this cut, you know, I have to cut this weight one more time, I'm only doing that against myself. That's against Alex. I'm pretty sure I heard that from a few different sources. So that's sort of where he was at with it. So he was serious about you giving it up. So I don't think it was a forced thing. I know sometimes that might be the case, but with this one, he really does, and he's been wanting to move up. And the only thing that was sort of keeping him second guessing was like, maybe I do that rematch. That's the only thing that really, only big enough fight, or that excites me at featherweight. Otherwise, mate, you know, the Islam fight or something bigger at lightweight is what he wants. So, you know, fair play to him. I understand that. But yeah, so I guess that's where it's at. I mean, maybe we could just set up a bigger fight further down the track.
Yeah.